What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I guess this is the video that y'all been waiting for. So in this video, I'm going to talk about basically my strategy or what my understanding of a strategy is, what trades I take, what are my rules, what I look for, how do I process information when I'm trading, or how to process price action when I'm trading, and a little bit of tips and tricks into what you should be doing if you're first starting out, and just things like that, and couple other things that are in general that you should probably know. This video will be long. I'm gonna make this as two-part video, probably 30 minutes each. So relax, grab a drink, you know, get some water, get some coffee or whatever, or beer, and just enjoy this video. I think it's gonna be a lot of good information and a lot of stuff that I'm gonna talk about. Mac talks about it because obviously I'm a student of Mac. So some of it be very repetitive, some of them probably gonna be new. But anyways, let's talk about the video. Let's talk about let's dive in. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna go over my settings real quick, indicators. So the setting I have, or the indicators I have, is Pat's toolbar, which is this thing right here, EMA 21 bar EMA. Real quick on the EMA, I have it to set to each tick and calculate each tick. It's important because I want to see exactly where EMA is at the current bar. By default, it's on bar close, so it'll be one bar behind. But if put on each tick, it'll be right at the current bar. For me, that's important. I need to know that. Okay. Third is the price action indicator with TDU from TradeDevilsIndicator.com. I don't recommend this for one reason: it's too expensive. Otherwise, the indicator is fantastic. It helps you visualize the legs. My God. So if you're trading max system, you need to know legs. Okay, you need to know how to count legs. With these bars, it's very simple. Okay. Again, Mac has his own, it's like $100. Get it. It's pretty much the same thing, but with this one, there's just a lot more stuff that you can do with it. You really don't need all this. You really don't. Next one is the Obsidian or Renko threshold. This is the green little bars that you see next to the price, which I'll show you in a minute. This will tell you where the new bar will form. Okay. And we have price line and we have economic news. Okay. So the threshold, okay, is these green lines. It will tell you where the new bar will form. So if the price is ticking down, once it crosses this line, the new bar will form. It's the opposite for the upside, right? For the up movement, okay. The price has to cross this line for the new bar to form, okay. It also tells me where I should be entering the trade. I do not take the trade. I don't take the trade with the one tick rule. I enter the trade at the bar close. So once the price crosses this line right here, for example, if there's a trade, I will place my order right at that line right there. Okay. And hopefully maybe I'll show you a live trade or something like that if the price is moving. This is Sunday price action. Okay. The setting is 6-4-11. I've been trading with this setting for about 4 months, I think now. I did have a lower setting, but that setting did not work for me too well because it gives you too many setups and many of them don't even work. So the lower the number you go, the lower the numbers are, the more setups you're gonna get, and that's not always a good thing. For me right now, this is a sweet spot. Okay. So yeah, I've been trading Max system for 4 years, and I've been trading his system for 4 years. That's it. I haven't traded any other system. I tried to learn a few other systems here and there, but this is the system that I've been trading right off the bat. Okay, I did learn another one system before Max, and it was basically a pattern system base. It was like a M and W system. Did not like it, hated it. So that was it, and that was actually a course that I paid for, which was way too expensive. But hey, that's the lesson that I learned. And I discovered Mac, and ever since I've been trading his system, and that's it. I don't want to know anything else. This works for me. This makes money for me. I don't need to know anything else, right? So with that out of the way, I do want to mention that you have to read his manual if you don't have this manual, if you don't know, like, you know who Mac is, this won't be for you. Like, you will have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you have this manual, please read it, and minimum read it 3 times. Minimum. I personally read it 6 times. I like to go back to it and kind of give myself a refresher, just in case maybe I missed something. And yes, these are all Renko bars. They're not actual tick charts, but the basics of the system, the actual foundation of the system, it works on any bar, any time frame. Okay, it doesn't matter if you, well, I don't want to say any bar. Okay, there's maybe like not like TPO charts or footprint charts, right, for example. But if you're using like, you know, 4 hour or 1 hour, 15 minutes, or range charts, this works on range charts pretty well. Renko bars, you know, I don't know about Heikinashi. I don't know about that. But even with Heikinashi, the principle is still the same, right? It's still the same. So yeah, read the manual at least 3 times and keep reading it. There's a lot of good information in there, and you won't, if you read it 1 time, you will not understand none of it, because you have to keep reading it. Okay, so why do I switch to these bars? Super simple. It's clear. Okay, for me, again, it's clear, it's precise, and it's straightforward, right? There's no inside bars. I don't have to worry about inside bars. We'll talk about it in a second. Okay, and you get to clear legs. You get to see clear legs. That's the beautiful thing right there. Eliminates noise, right? You cannot really completely eliminate noise. There's always going to be noise. Doesn't really matter what bars you use, but it does reduce the noise. And for me, the less information I have to process, the better, right? I like to keep it simple. I don't like to keep it, you know, complicated in the sense of like having other charges and things like that. This is already hard enough. You don't need to make it even more complicated. Okay. So this is why I switched to these bars. I don't like 2000 tick chart. I've talked about it in my previous videos. I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, let's dive into the rules. Let's do this. So these are the rules. First one is no trade after 5-minute market open. Self-explanatory. Before I go into this, I guess I should say the reason I have these rules is because I went back to my data, to my losers, and I found that these are the most common things that I was doing that cost me money, that cost me accounts. Okay, so I decided to say no more. This is from now what I'm going to do. So this is why this is it right here, right? Some of these are max rules, but this one right here, the first one, is mine. Doesn't matter how good the setup is. I don't care what the context is. I'm waiting for after 5 minutes, and then if there's a setup, then I'll pull the trigger. If not, I'll move on to the next trade. Second rule, no trade in inside bars. Again, these bars, you don't really see inside bar too often. I think I've seen a couple in the past 3 months, but most of them are in the congestion, which is, I don't trade congestion, as you can clearly see. Rule number 3. No trading congestion. Okay, what is congestion to me? It's 3 overlapping bars, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, 3 overlapping bars, no trade. I don't care what the context is. It does not matter. I don't trade in a congestion. I'm done. Okay, number 4, no trade above below the EMA. So if the trade setups below the EMA, and this is specifically to second entries, triple tests and lower highs, higher lows, they're a little bit different, okay? But this is specific to the second entries. The second entry, for example, if I'm looking for a second entry long, it has to close above the EMA. It's a requirement. I don't care if it's below the EMA and all that good stuff. I don't care if it's at the EMA. It has to close below or above the EMA if it's a second entry long. If it's a second entry short, it's a vice versa. It has to close below the EMA, okay? So the reason for that is when there's usually a second entry long below the EMA, what I do is I wait for a higher low, right? And it's vice versa for the second entry short. I'm looking for a lower high, right? The reason for that is because every time I would take a trade that's a second entry below the EMA, I usually get a loser. And I know Mac marks those trades and they're aggressive. And I used to take him on a 2000 tick chart, and half of them don't work. Okay, so there, yeah, just be aware. Okay, the ones that he marks it's after the fact, and it's very hard to do those trades. Okay, number 5, no trade if no room to EMA. Again, this is towards pretty much any trade, maybe not in the range rules. The range rules, the EMA doesn't really apply, but you do have to pay attention to the midline. But if there's a triple test and we're not ranging, we're actually climbing higher or lower or whatever, I have to have enough room to the EMA. I have to have same thing with the what do you call it, lower highs, higher lows. Again, second entry doesn't really matter because I'm not going to go and trade into the EMA. It has to be above or below. But when a lower high, higher lows, and triple test, I have to have enough room. Number 6, no trade into support resistance. And I can't spell resistance. So it's, again, pretty self-explanatory. You have to pay attention if there's recent support or resistance. If there's not enough room to that support resistance, no trade. Very simple. Again, I don't care what this setup looks like. I don't care what the context is. If there's a recent support or resistance at that trade entry, I'm not taking that. Okay. So let me just show you a few examples. Before I actually dive into that, I do want to mention that the max system, and he doesn't talk about this too much, but max system, you have to trade it with a runner. Okay, I've talked about this before, and I'm just gonna go over it real quickly. In order for you to trade with a runner, you have to trade either 5 or more contracts. If you're trading below 5 contracts, the runner system or whatever you want to call it, entry, is actually working against you because of the math. And again, I'm not gonna go into details on all that stuff. You can research it yourself. But this strategy shines when you trade with a runner. It absolutely shines. It dominates price action. Well, I would say price action. It dominates your P&L, I should say. There you go. It dominates your P&L. Honestly, I've passed many 100K challenges within the week trading with 10 contracts as a scalp, Vortex scalp, and using one as a runner. Okay, I mean, honestly, it changes the dynamic of your equity curve, your P&L, whatever, right? I can't stress that enough. Okay, honestly speaking, it truly shines if you trade with a runner. Now, the way you trade with a runner is going to be up to you. What I usually did, I would scalp out for 4 ticks, right? And I would my runner, say for example, if I enter here, I would get my scalp first, and then I'll move my stop loss for the runner closer to this red bar right here, so that way I'm saving a few points, maybe 2 points, maybe in this case probably 1 point, but I'm reducing the risk on the runner, and I let the runner run. I don't care if it gets stopped out. If I get stopped out, it does not matter. I'll move on to the next trade. Okay, and the reason I do that is because a lot of these entries, okay, and I mean a lot of them, they go for 5, 6, 7, 8 points. Okay, some of them even go for 20 points, right? So if you can catch 3 or 4 of these kind of runners throughout the week, it makes such a huge difference. I promise you guys. So, but a lot of us can't trade with a runner. Okay, if you're trading a 50K account, you can't use really a runner. But again, it's the way that you trade this is up to you. I'm just giving you my version. It's up to you to find out what you like. It's up to you if you want to scalp for 4 ticks. It's up to you if you want to go for 10 points. I don't care, okay? What I do is I gauge the market in what condition it is. If the price is moving, making these huge moves and volatile, I'm going to go for more points. It's simple. If the price is ranging and doing this chop stuff, okay, and not moving, not doing anything, I'm going to scalp out. It's as simple as that, okay? If you look at it at the price action, you zoom out, look at price action, you see, damn, that's a big downtrend, okay? You probably want to go for more points, like if you can catch, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, you're good to go. But if you see a price action just, going, I don't know, this is not a really good example, but, let's just say, for example, this is a range right here, right? If it's just ranging and not doing nothing, we'll just scalp out, okay? And it's simple as that, okay? I've expressed my opinion on 4-tick scalp thing. It's another video. You can watch that. It's fine. Find what works for you, okay? And piggyback off of that is, I do want to say that this works for me, okay? But just because it works for me does not necessarily going to work for you, okay? Some of you might want to use 3000 tick chart. Some of you want to use a higher setting on this. I don't know. I don't know what works for you. Everybody's different. But this has been proven to me that I've been consistent. It makes money, and it works. Okay. You might look at this and say, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, this is nonsense." And that's okay. Okay. Not everybody's gonna like this. Okay. So let's dive into the rules real quick. So like I said, the 5-minute after market open. That's again self-explanatory. I don't need to go into that. But no trade on inside bar. Again, there's really no inside bars on this system. Maybe you consider this as an inside bar. Again, usually there are inside the congestion. Okay, so yeah, next rule, no trading congestion. Again, there's a lot of times where you would see a setup that's appearing or setting up on the screen, and let me see if I can find one. Well, let's take this for example. It's not really a good example, but you have a new high here, right? You have a first entry long and a second entry long, right? So this bar is, it's in congestion. It's right into the EMA. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 bar congestion. You can't trade that, even though it's against the trend because this already played out. But you can clearly see this congestion, right? Right here. Right, you can clearly see its congestion. Don't trade that. That's a no-no, right? Same thing here. This is actually a good example. You have new high, first entry, second entry long right here. Now again, this is 2 bar. That is okay. Okay, it's qualified, so to speak, right? But then you place your stop loss right here, 1 tick below the signal bar. It would have been fine. But my point is that it's right at the EMA. Would I trade this? Probably not. I want to see like a nice close above the EMA, right? Kind of like where is it? Like this, right? You can clearly see it's way above the EMA. It's all that good stuff. Same thing here, right at the EMA. This is beautiful. These 2 setups are golden, right? It's golden setups, A+ setups, right? Super easy to understand, super easy to see. There's your failure. Let's talk about it in a second. Again, super clear second entry long. You have new high, first entry, second entry long. Okay, I'm trying to find a setup that's not. There's your second entry long right here. That's congestion. Let's see. There's a second entry short here into the EMA. Can't trade that. Dang, well, I guess I guess there's none. Well, if I find one as I explain this stuff, I will show you. But for example, well, we can kind of see it right here. So you have new low, first entry short, second entry short, right? Congestion, can't really take that, right? Even though it's overall downtrend, you know what I mean? Same thing here. You have new low, first entry short, second entry short. Again, congestion, can't take that 1, 2, 3, 4 bar congestion. Right, so you can understand what I'm talking about, right? The next one is no trade above below the EMA. Okay, so this one is for the second entry. Again, this is very repetitive, but if there's a second entry long, for example, you have new high here, first entry, second entry long, right? You have channel working up, you're expecting the price to retest this high. You have new high, first entry, second entry long, not enough from to EMA. It's below the EMA. I want to see a nice bullish bar above the EMA with no congestion. This is no trade right here, right? What else? Second entry short. So this is where is it? Right here. This is second entry short, right? So you have new low, first entry, second entry short. However, I see it's a triple test. You have 1, 2, 3. As a second entry short, I can't really take that just because it goes into the EMA. But as a triple test, this is totally fine. Okay. What else? Let me see. Triple test, right? You have 1, 2, 3 triple test. Plenty of room to the EMA. You have break a couple legs up. That channel's already played out. That's a perfect entry. Go short, right? What else? Same thing here. You have second entry long. above the EMA, all that good stuff. So I hope you understand that. So again, the second entries is specifically the number 4. Number 4 is specifically for second entries only. It doesn't apply for triple test lower highs. So if you do take in a trade that's, let's just say for example, a second entry long that's below the EMA, make sure you have plenty of room to scalp out. Okay, to me that's an aggressive entry. I don't really like taking those. I usually wait for a higher low. Okay. Number 5, no trade if there's room to the EMA. Again, I just explained that. Make sure you have enough room to the EMA, whether it's triple test, whether it's what do you call it, not second entry, but lower high, higher low. And of course, last one, no trading to support resistance. And this one's, people miss that a lot actually, and I used to miss that a lot. So, you know, to give you an example, of course there's no setups like that, but let's just say for example, you know, for the sake of, I don't know, for the sake of an example, right? So let's just say price reverses here and went up, right? Let's just say it went up here. So you have new high, first entry, pull back, and then you have a second entry forming right here, right? So be very careful going into this resistance. Obviously, you can clearly see that there's resistance. So if there's a second entry long setting up like in this area somewhere in this area, right? Be aware that you might not, my price might actually bounce off the resistance and goes lower. And same thing for the bottom. If there's a second entry short setting up right here in this area somewhere, right, going down, right? Be aware that there's some support here, right? And you might want to be careful going short into that support. Okay, a lot of times people miss that, you know, and they end up getting burned because, you know, they don't realize there's, you know, there's big support resistance, right? And there's, I guess, smaller support resistance, or recent, I should say, support resistance, right? So be aware of that. You know, if this was like, let's say for example, this channel was up, right? And let's just say a second entry was popping out somewhere in this area, right? Would you go long into the recent high? I probably wouldn't, to be honest, you know. Now, when it's an example like this, right, you have plenty of room to the recent high, right? You have like 6 points there. There's no reason why price at least should make your scalp if you're scalping, right? Obviously, in this case, we got even more. We got about probably 4 points here, you know, almost 5 points. So you get the idea, right? And here's your also triple test right here. Right, and that brings me to my next point. What setups, right, I take. My bread and butter are second entries, shorts and longs, triple tests, lower high, higher lows after the break of new extreme, and sometimes failures, okay, if they're obvious. So I don't trade failed breakouts in a sense. If it's a range, I'm not very good at that, so I tend to skip those. Even though you can clearly see a range, you can clearly identify a range. But these, you know, this is my perfect entry. This is my perfect entry, right? This is a triple test with the trend. When it comes to triple tests, I highly recommend you trade with the trend. Okay, so you have a trend working down, you have first leg up, second leg up, price trying to retest that area 1, 2, 3, go short. Why do you have to go short? Because the price most likely going to retest this low, and simple as that. The basics rule of max system is the channels. What happens when the price breaks a channel? Simple. It usually retests the low, the extreme, right? This is the low, right? That's how you should, that's what you should keep in mind every single time. Even the smaller channels, like for example, this is a small channel, right? Right here, break new high. Technically, this is not a really new high, right? Because this high is lower than this high, but you can clearly see that price did try to retest that high, okay? Does it always retest? No. Does it retest 90% of the time? Absolutely, okay? And even if the price fails to retest that high, if you're doing just a 4-tick scalp, well, all you need is 4 ticks, right? That's all you need, okay? It doesn't matter at that point if you get your 4-tick scalp. At that point, does it really matter if the price retests that high? No. Why? Because you already got your money. You're out of the trade. You're good to go. Excuse me. Same thing here, right? You have a correction, right? You have a break, new low. It's a smaller channel. It works. Small channels, it works in the big channels, medium-sized channels. It doesn't matter. It works almost 90% of the time. You have another small channel working up with a break, new high. Then we get a new high. That's okay. If you went long here, you got your scalp. You're good to go, right? Channel working down, break, new low. Cool. Channel working up, break, couple legs down, new high. Beautiful, right? Channel working down. Another thing, a little quick tip here. This right here, this little area, you'll see this a lot with these channels. This area here, this area right here. I consider this as a one leg. I don't consider this a break and another leg down. So like visually it will look like this, right? To me, that's not a clear leg, unless the channel is kind of small, which is like in this example right here. You can clearly see the channel is very small, break new low. Okay. To me, this is all one leg down, or one channel, I should say, right? Break new low. Okay, same thing here. Channel working down, break new low, right? So keep a lookout on this. Don't get too, I don't know, too excited if you see this. Oh my God, there's been a break. No, just wait. Let price show you what it's doing, and then go from there. Okay. Lower highs, higher lows. This is very important. I only take lower highs, higher lows if there has been a break of channel and new extreme. Again, to give you an example, there's really not one. So this is this example what not to take. Okay, you have a channel working down, right? Big channel in play. You can clearly see that the channel is in play. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, right? Channel is in play. There's a higher low. Are you gonna take this? No. Why? Because I'm waiting for the price to retest this low. I'm waiting for the break first and retest of the low. Once I get that retest of the low, then I can start thinking, okay, if I get a higher low, then I can take it. Okay, it's something the opposite for lower highs. There's your lower high right here. Okay, you have a channel working up, you have a correction working up with a break new high in place. Boom, lower high. I'm going short. There's plenty of room to the EMA. Again, remember, you gotta remember, make sure there's enough room to the EMA. There's a 1.5 right there. Lower highs, higher lows, I scalp out. I don't go for more than a point. I don't. Just because this have been trading. Now, what happens with these lower highs, higher lows is that most of the time the price goes way more than just a point, right? In this case, actually, it went even freaking lower. I mean, look at this drop. This is crazy, right? This is like a 60-point drop. But I just personally, that's my personal preference. I just go for 4 ticks and I'm out. That's it. But those are my setups, and of course the failures, which is I got one here. This is not really a true failure, so I don't recommend trading failures. They're very advanced, and you have to understand what the price is doing. But just to give you a quick example, you have new low, first entry short, second entry short, failure. You have a channel working down with a break new low. That's already played out. So, you know, what's the most probable thing the price is going to do when it bounces off this sort of range here 3 times? Well, the most probable thing that the price is going to bounce off this top of the channel. However, this time it did not. It went up a little bit and then went reverse. Okay, so failures, again, I don't recommend those. Just stick to second entries, stick to triple test and lower highs and higher lows, and then eventually evolve into failures. The failures, the lower highs, higher lows, and the failures, they will come naturally to you. Okay, I learned second entries first, and then I gradually went to triple test, and then lower highs, higher lows, and then failures. So just focus on one thing, second entries, master that, and then go on to the next thing. And honestly speaking, as you do this, you naturally will evolve and naturally start seeing things. Okay, you don't even have to like try. You just one day you wake up and you look at the chart. Oh, there's a lower high. Oh, there's a higher low. Okay, that makes sense. All right, cool. And that's just, don't force it. Okay, if you're trying to force it, it won't work for you. Okay. Where are we at? We're at 29 minutes. So I think I'm gonna pause this here, and move on to the next section. But I hope this was kind of useful to you, kind of a little introduction here, and I guess we'll get into meat and potatoes on the next video. So if you're still here, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you. Stick around for the next video. Will come out probably tomorrow or whenever. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.